Hello again to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. I believe this is episode 9. Anyways, let's play this. For a change, I'm not among the first ones to come to morning class. Instead, almost everyone seems to be here already. I recognize most of my class by their faces by now, though the names escape me still. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of the school. I've even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overtly attentive. The first days I was pretty high-strung in class. Hisao finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday, please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds. Games and fried food! Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. I couldn't even read that sentence in the first place. The remainder of his sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Mutao deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention... Sorry, I had to go back to check if I could read the sentence. Wasn't anything important. Okay, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in this school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. Frickin' mouse wheel. Hisao! Oh, we finally see her in her school clothes instead of her morning jogging clothes. That's nice. I'm going to make you a one-time only super extra special lunch offer. Emmy's homemade lunch boxes and the privilege of enjoying them in private with two bombshell beauties. Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway, a remarkable feat since it's full of people. Emmy strikes a very confident looking pose as an attempt to one-up her own ridiculousness, puffing her very modest chest and making the V for victory sign with her hand. Sounds delicious. To what do I owe this honor of being invited? You stood there looking really lost and sad, so I thought you could use some company. That is probably the most depressing reason imaginable. So how about it? You're probably really lonely and would eat that awful cafeteria food all alone otherwise. I'm kidding. Sure, I'll have your lunch offer. With pleasure. Let's go to the roof and jump off. Wait, what? Who said that? No one? The roof? Why the roof? To jump off, silly. Oh, wait, what? Because that's where we eat lunch. And if I don't get up there, then she'll probably wander off, and then I just know she'll go hungry because she never packs a lunch for herself. Who will? Come with me. Without answering my question or waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. Why'd you have an extra lunch? Emmy smiles guiltily. Actually, it's yesterday's lunch. I slipped in a run at lunch and forgot to eat it. Huh. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, right? Yeah, I think so. But it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Emmy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Oh no, is that Rin? Oh dear. Suddenly a tall dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Eek! It's even the same red colour. Hello. Yipes, you scared me, Rin. Wait, isn't she... Hello. Noticing that Rin is speaking to me. Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I look confusedly at Emmy. Emmy. I'm gonna say Emmy. Whatever. Sorry if I constantly change the pronunciation of this person. She's that friend of yours? Rin, sorry for the pause, by the way. I had to check up something really quick. Rin, I won't do that again, by the way. Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school. Sorry, I'm looking something up anyways. Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school. I didn't know you knew this person, Emmy. Emmy. The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off. I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Ah, does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for free. Nice thinking. They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There's nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few run-down benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. A peek through the chain-link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow, when I look towards the town centre, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run and catch a bus like their life depended on it, or get senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly I haven't had time to think how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust, like it used to, just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces one big and two small lunchboxes from her bag. Come on, Hisao, what are you waiting for? She's beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I seat myself on the corner of the bench to take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive few. Emmy suppresses a giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Rin and hands another lunchbox to me. Here you go. Lunch as promised. Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good. Thanks. I make them myself when I can. Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening the lunchbox and popping a forkful of food into her mouth using only her feet. You don't have to keep saying that she only keeps using her feet. She has no arms, dude. She has no other way to... Unless she stuffs the whole food, I guess, in her face, but I don't think that's good for anyone. Oh, right. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I am in right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing, either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? No. Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? Yes. I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. My morning run always works up an appetite. Which is great because I burn through lunch pretty quickly. It helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you'd lose it? Would you become a man? I very nearly choke on my lunch trying not to laugh. It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the mornings too? God damn it, Rin! Do you always talk like this? Talk like what? Like what? Wait, can I choose now who I'm responding to? I thought he was responding to Rin. I'm gonna go with Rin. I'm sorry. I want to respond to Emmy, but I was thinking I was responding to Rin's. I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, I struggled to think of it. That was pretty nice decision making right there, actually. That was pretty interesting. Instead of the usual choose box thingies, you'd have to choose which person talking. Yes. I struggled to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How did you two meet? Rin seems content to let Emmy answer this question. Someone in the housing department thought that we'd complement each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another. Complement each other? Like shoes and a suit. Huh? Emmy giggles at my confusion. Put us together and we've got our limbs, get it? Ah. So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. That was nothing. You all heard nothing. Anyways, right. That seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of. This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. Oh, shut up. No, I wasn't saying shut up to you. I was saying shut up to the noises in the background, if you haven't noticed. Anyways, this isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is genuinely curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms, so putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods in what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner. Oh dear, Hisao. Why are you making things so difficult? I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's quite good. Or it's really quite good. It's really quite good, whatever. Amy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise. Ah, that was good! As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry. Why? What? Don't. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. I wanted to say juke boxes. I'm very, very sorry for that. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk complete with pink color scheme, and keeps a equally pink box of some sort of fruit punch for herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I'm once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Perhaps that is a good thing to do indeed, considering all things considered, with how you exactly talked and whatnot. Somehow I don't think either Emmy or Rin are the sorts of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another. I'm honestly not sure. So, Hisao, how do you like it up here? It's quite nice actually. I like high places for the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch too. Emmy grins a 1,000-watt grin, pleased by my response, I suppose. No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time too, okay? I won't make you a lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mock offended. Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve! She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will just keep eating lunch all alone. Oh, no, that's sad. That's so sad. I'm suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Emmy pouts. Kidding! I was just kidding! I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company's okay too. Emmy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs. Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're gonna fade away. Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we'd better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of the books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. Oh, okay, the noise was him dropping the books. Okay. As I dropped the books I'd borrowed into the return slot in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Ah, sorry, Yuko, didn't mean to startle you. No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. That's such a lie, otherwise you wouldn't be startled by it, silly. Can I help you? It's okay, I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. After an indiscernible amount of time spent pursuing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, the sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off cafeteria food and eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gate, I make a few loud stretches to try and stave off the tiredness that's accumulated over the week. After passing through and rounding the corner, though, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards the small town below. The color of her hair and tapping of her cane are unmistakable. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. Hi, Lily. She takes a moment to place the voice, slightly adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does. Hisao? Yep, that's me. She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembered is a pleasant surprise. Good evening, what brings you here? Once again she gives a small polite bow, and once again I reply in kind before realizing that I needn't do so. Just going into town. You? My, what a coincidence. Doing the same thing, eh? I usually go shopping on Fridays. She pauses for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost. That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me. Not lost but worried. The two do seem to keep pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just caught up in a book. She lets out a small sigh of relief. Thank you. She has a habit of doing that. Avid reader? Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a little bit. Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace as I recall my first meeting with her. Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remain silent as we quietly continue to walk down the quiet road. Tack, tack, tack. With the road bereft of cars and students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. Before I know it, I've relaxed so much that a loud yawn escapes before I can control it. Tired? Oh, hang on. There we go. Tired? Yeah, I've been running ragged these past few days. That's an understatement to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this. Well, hopefully everything should settle down for you. The festival's got everyone in a spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things. For a moment I hesitate, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I guess Yamaku's kind of different though. I mean, the formality surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it though, in time. She gives a matter-of-fact nod, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she's included me in the flock of students she's shepherding, along with Class 3-2 and Hanako. Well, not that I mind, it's nice to get the thoughts off of my chest in any case. Looking on the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends. That's optimistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speaks up about something else. So, where in town were you going? That's actually a pretty good question. I'd come in to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but with sunset already approaching and nightfall not too far away, that doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask her for directions, again. I was just going to get some food, but now that you mention it, I don't really know the way. Well now, this is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience store myself. Looks like I'll be in your care again then. Thanks. Together we walk to the store. My pace is carefully slowed to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower. Not that it's without reason. After what couldn't be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town really is pretty small. Without further ado, we make our way inside with a greeting from the counter. Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanako would help me, but seeing as she's not here, it takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a big pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she had this idea since I said I was coming here. Sure, it'd be my pleasure. I grab 2 well-used red baskets from the small stack beside the entrance, handing one to Lily. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in, retracting her cane and sliding it through the basket's handles before picking it back up in her right hand. Wait, if she doesn't use her cane... Before I can complete the thought, she comes beside me and pinches the cuff of my uniform with her slender fingers. Is this alright? Sure. I have no reason not to accept. I can think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me, even if it's out of necessity. We navigate our way through the store, with not one of the occasional passing customers seeming to bat an eyelid. Considering how close Yamaku is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for the local residents. As we reach each As we reach... Oh, wow. Sorry there. As we reach each ale, I quickly check Lily and find out what she needs. I grab it along with what I'm looking for and put our items into their respective baskets. I guess this is the same routine she and Hanako follow every Friday. Right. All that's left is the bread, and that should be my shopping done. Do you need anything else, Lily? No, this should be everything. Off we go then. With a quick side trip to the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line, thankfully, is almost non-existent. And a short yawn between our two. It's not long before we've both paid for our food and are out of the door. As Lily retrieves her cane and extends it to its full length, I waste a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both our bags. For a moment I tried to make clouds with my breath, but the summer's heat doesn't seem to cooperate. Eventually she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her bag and leaving me to my two. You tired as well? The festival preparations have been complete chaos. Shichune's breathing down my neck doesn't exactly help things either. Hey, she's only trying to get everything organized. Better now than later, right? I suppose. I'm going to enjoy relaxing in town tomorrow, that's for certain. I guess the festival preparations must be taking their toll on the both of them. We walk out into the quiet street, talking between ourselves as we carry our bags of food and supplies from the store. Wait, what's that? I notice a very distinctive figure making its way towards us, silhouetted by the street lamps. For a second, I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or should I say she, gets closer, I recognize her quickly. Rin, what are you doing out here so late? Rin? Lily perks her head, looking like she's trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should probably interpret the scene for her. It's Rin, Tetsuka, I think was her last name, from our school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated looking expression, something like a forced fusion of a composed smile and painful cringe. I understand. I guess Lily knows Rin too. Rin turns to look at us, looking terribly out of it. I'm not entirely sure if she recognizes either of us, or at least she doesn't acknowledge it if she does. She looks like a zombie or a statue of a zombie. But slowly, some symptoms of understanding seem to light in her dark eyes. This is something she must react to. Rin blinks once, very thoroughly. Hello? There's an awkward pause, everyone waiting for someone else to say something. What are you doing here this late? I was wondering about that myself too just now. Some people asked that just before. I assumed they were wondering the same. I didn't know. They didn't know either. I asked. That's why I'm wondering. So that was pretty much it. It's a murder mystery without a murder. They were going that way. She turns facing to her right in order to demonstrate the direction that the people went as if that was important. Then rotates back like a mechanical puppet into one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being the quiet type, Rin really does use a lot of words to say things that don't need a lot to be said. Unsure if she's finished, I say nothing. Neither does Lily, who seems equally robbed of the words for the time being. I think that both of us are in fact just scared that any response might provoke her to continue. Our stupefied lack of reaction doesn't faze Rin at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. She seems to be that kind of person, always so relaxed. As if elephant-grade sedatives were flowing in our veins in the place of blood. Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you having any of the sort, though. No, I don't think it's that. The other passers-by were probably just worried, though. You do look really lost, the way you're standing in the middle of the street. Oh, I see. Maybe I should have taken some other kind of pose in that case. I ponder for a while whether I should chase this angle further or give up for the sake of my own sanity. I decide on the latter. No, you should have gone with the first one, dude. It seems that most of the time it's better not to read too deeply into what Rin is babbling about. Talking with Rin is like playing chess with a supercomputer who does seemingly completely random moves as if to mock everything you know about chess. It's like that, except with humor interaction. And even if I win, it feels like losing. Damn, it's just like Kenji said, even when I win, I lose. Is this the power of the girls of Yamaku? Don't get into Kenji's... Don't get serious about whatever Kenji says. Don't do that. The things Kenji said to you was... pizza, seriously, and the other things, no, don't... I pushed the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kenji's anti-female propagandist getting to me at a moment of weakness. Yes, exactly that, yes. Yeah, maybe. Taking another pose might have worked. So anyway, you have no idea what you're doing here. She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either my question, its consequences, or the answer she's about to give. I do have some idea. I can't really tell what kind of an idea. That sounds like progress, at least. I'm sorry. Lily sounds as if she spotted an opening for some kind of discernibly normal conversation. I can't say I share her optimism. Yes, there is some. Definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it. I always have reasons. The ensuing silence kills Lily's hope all too visibly. That didn't last long. Rin, as far as I can tell, I'm based. I'm just gonna say I'm based, I'm sorry. Assurances aside, what should be done? We could just leave her to her own devices, whatever those are, but it's late and I don't think we'll be getting any thanks if Rin is found standing here in the middle of the night. Which she probably will unless she manages to remember what she was doing here in the first place. Which won't be likely. As for me trying to guess what might have been going on in her mind when she decided to embark on this adventure, the chances seem to be on par with winning the lottery. Several times in a row. I like the humor of this game, to be very honest. Lily is oddly quiet too. I'd appreciate some support from the sidelines here, especially if she's more familiar with Rin than I am. But it can't be helped. It seems her familiarity with Rin is exactly why she's staying subdued. So, I assume you were going somewhere? Not coming back to the school? Any idea where? Her eyes widen in shock as she jolts back in a somewhat artificial way, making it seem like an act rehearsed for a situation like this. Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique! Are you being sarcastic? No, what? Why would you think that? You knew what I was doing! That face. It was just an educated guess. We walked the same street in the other direction just before to get to the store. If you were going to school, we would have met you on the way. Oh. She looks a little disappointed. Like Kenji, Rin appears quick to jump to completely irrational conclusions. Maybe it's something in the water here. I make a mental note to stock up on soft drinks. You know, that is the second time this week that someone asked if I was a mind reader. Do I really give off that impression? Rin shrugs her shoulders, which is all the answer I get. You know, maybe you should come with us back to the school. Lily interjects just as I am about to further debunk my alleged mind-reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper-thin smile on her face badly disguising that fact. Maybe she came to the same conclusion as I did. For everyone's sake, I decide to let the mind-reading topic drop, as it's entirely inane. Anyway, I think it should be insane. I think that was the first typo I actually seen in this game. Oh well, for lots of text so far, that's pretty. Anyways, that's pretty good. Not good. Typos aren't good, but I mean, considering the large amount of text we had before, and there's only one bad typo now, that's okay. Anyways, yeah, Lily's right. If you can't remember, there's no point in staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction for a moment, then nods. Okay. We start towards the school again, having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in a rhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancer, while Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping at the ground with her cane. Tap, step, step, tap, tap, step, step, step. Apart from that and a few fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. Quite apart from the relaxing one into town at that. So how's the mural going? We are going to get bad luck. Never talk about works in progress. I'm sure it will be wonderful. Bad luck. Tap, step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamaku rests on top of is surprisingly steep going uphill. We slow the pace, but I feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Oh dear, oh dear. Is he gonna get another heart incident? Almost there, I can see the gates already. More than that though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder, interpreting as a gesture that she wants to ask something, so I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I resist the urge to say, aside from our travelling companion, but only just. What? Why does everyone think Rin is so wrong? Why? Anyways, for a moment she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyway. Is everything alright? Alright, how do you mean? The fact I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second. It's just, you seem unusually tired, I guess. Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Lily noticed it all too quickly. Sorry, I'm not in very good condition, or I don't want to talk about it. I actually want him to talk about it, and I don't want him to lie either. So, let's see, I'm not in very good condition. That's, I guess, true. But, like, don't know. Fine, I'll say the first one, because I want him to talk more about it. I want Hisao to talk more about his problems, because I think that if he would just reach out to a few more people, he would get a whole lot more help. There, he's lying. He says it's alright. I knew it. It's alright. I just need to catch my breath. My condition isn't the best these days. Uh-oh. Is it something that is related to you being transferred here? I mean, she cuts herself off rather abruptly, maybe realizing she was being a bit intrusive. Her instincts are sharp though, and while I don't like the subject, it's not like I should lie about it. Ah, good. This is what I was going for. Good going, Hisao. If it's Lily, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being. Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought... Lily doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. As she furrows her brow... I'm sorry guys if you all heard that large growling in the distance. That was a motorcycle. As she furrows her brow, Lily's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that not all share her own comfort about such things. No, it's okay. I have a pretty... I guess the best way to put it would be messed up heart. Arrhythmia. I had a bad heart attack a while ago because of it, and spent most of the spring in a hospital. Ended in Yamaku on doctor's orders. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer, though, only seems to make Lily furrow her brow even further. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react, given we don't really know each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given that I have the exact same reaction. To my surprise, in a moment's time her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization. Wait, so the time when Emmy and you collided in the hallway? I grimace slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing the topic. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I tried to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realized the futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Alright, they arrived back at the dorms. I think I can now safely say that I'm gonna stop with Katawa Shoujo for now. That doesn't mean though that I'll stop completely for today. I'm gonna start up something else after this. I'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed more Katawa Shoujo. Goodbye.